What can you tell me about the origins of Slauson?
Okay. Now, I said, when we were first asked the question, like I already told you, I don't ask the questions directly, but when we were first talking, I was just telling you about Slauson as being Slauson at the time. Okay, and I told you 1952. Okay, we got some people say 1953, but when I talked to Jerome Davis and I talked to some other people, and I also said Roach was leader of Little Slauson.
Right.
Okay, to us he was, but the president of Little Slauson is Jerome Davis. Okay, Jerome Davis is Milton Davis's brother. Milton Davis, Lafayette mentioned Milton Davis in his tape. Milton Davis is a Pueblo player. Okay, but sometime in the early 50s, they moved from the Pueblos, or at least the younger part of the family did, to 65th between Hooper and Central. Okay, and then that's when Jerome starts Little Slausons. See, okay, and Jerome was around and around and around, but he was a quiet character type, very dangerous, very bad guy. But he would never be. You would never hardly see him on the set. He was on the set, but you would never see him. But Roach was up close and personal. And so we can consider Roach as leader of Little Slauson mainly because he's the regulator. He was the one that told all the rules and what you better not do. He said, if we go to fight, and there's 10 of us that go to fight, and I look back, and some of y'all ran, he said, we're going to quit fighting them, and we're going to come after y'all. Okay, now your question is this. What are the origins? Okay, now, the first guy, Frank Johnson from the Pueblo Players came. He was the first black person to move on 62nd Street, just before coming west, just before you get to the park. Because 62nd runs out right in front of Slausons Park. And he's a Pueblo player. He was the first black kid. Then there's a homeboy named Ted Coleman. Ted Coleman told me personally that he went to Edison in 1946. He said one day some white boys were trying to jump on him. He was running. They were chasing him. And the coach was going down the street and he picked Ted Coleman up. And I think that was on a Friday after school. Everything usually happened after school on a Friday. Okay, and he dropped Ted Coleman off. He said, but that Monday when they came to school, Ted Coleman said that the coach put him on the track team. Okay, now he was in the neighborhood in 1946. He showed me some tattoos on his arms that a white boy named Dutch and some other white boys put on him. See, on my cousin Thad Smith that used to live on 75th that I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Bobby Newman, he said that that it was white boys at Slausons Park. Okay, now that's before I went up to the park. I didn't go up to the park until 54. Okay, and Ted Coleman told me the white boys did them tattoos that he had on him, and white boys that was at Slausons Park, they were off of Slausons Park and they were white boys. Okay, now the dudes that came up here and became Slausons, they had names like Humbugs and the Skulls, but they hung at Slausons Park, but they had other little names, but they didn't say Slauson. See, but this is 1940s. Okay, Big John told me he came from Mississippi in 1948, and that Big John's from Big Slausons. His cousin, Thomas Henderson, said he came right after that in 49 to Slausons Park. But see, like the point is, it was guys, they were Slausons, but they wasn't named Slausons yet, not until Jerome. See, when all the big guys were there, and Jerome was a younger guy. Jerome's about 3 years or no more than 4 older than me. Okay, when Jerome them started, they the youngsters, just like when I told you that the old dude, some of the Chinaman was an upstart, and they used to let him do what he wanted to do. Well, when Jerome got out in the streets, well, that's the same thing happened. He was doing things that they weren't doing no more. Okay, so Jerome is the one put the name Slauson on it after the park. Okay, and that's in 52. See, but there was Slauson's own Slausons Park in 48. And so I didn't name all the cliques, and I might as well do it now. Okay, you got Big Slauson, Little Slauson, Baby Slauson, Midget Slauson, Flips, Little Flips, Soul Brothers, Village Brothers, Tiny Slausons, Renegades, Little Renegades. You got ambassadors. You had 60s, and then those 60s are between Slauson and Florence. between Avalon and Broadway. All of that is 60s, although you got a 259s, okay, and you got 70th and 71st, but the majority of the streets are 60s, including with Gage is the middle street. Okay, and that's the first 60s when we were saying the 60s, before they had rolling 60s. Then you got the Villa Green. The Villa Green with some guys down there on 98th off of Clovis. The guy with the electric company, and you got them big old electric triangular things that go all the way to the freeway. Matter of fact, I think they come over to Figueroa and toward Vermont or something too. They might, I don't know. But anyway, it was some green grass right on the back of the electric place where them Sherman Atchison and Ronald Pendergraft and all of them used to hang out. Okay, and so they had parties and they started calling themselves Villa Green. With Villa the same as the village and stuff and so on. Okay, since I mentioned Ronald Pendergraft, I have to say one more thing about a Watts girl. And I shouldn't have left her out. She should have been first. Rachel Pendergraft. Prettiest thing you ever want to see. And she went to Edison. She used to go with Frank Gentry, but she ended up marrying Little Popsicle from Watts. Okay, and now that was a bad girl there. Okay, I had to mention her. But anyway, what happens is, okay, you got Villa Greens, then you had some one old Landslows that I didn't know nothing about, and then you had, did I mention Village Brothers?
No.
The Village Brothers, and then some SOS, the Sons of Slausons, and you had the Assassins and the Baby Assassins, and I mentioned the Tinies, and you had Little Warlords. You had Little Warlords, and it's about 25 cliques.
Yeah, that's 21.
Yeah, it's about 25.
Mm-hmm.
It's some more.
Mm-hmm.
See, Manchester Park. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Kingfish, Michael King now. That Manchester Park. And, see, all them guys, I just knew certain guys from certain ones. See, where what you call them come from? Jason Baycott and what you call them? Barefoot Pookie and all them. See, okay, let me explain this to you. Since we in it, all that's part of our territory. See, the central territory of Slauson is over here. Everybody from Slauson, when it became an umbrella term, everything, no matter what set you were from or clique you were from in Slauson, they all understood one thing, that the authority of Slauson Village lied over here. See, okay, and in this general section, just say from Avalon back to all the way to Alameda with the Florence-Firestone district and right across Central. Okay, and Little Slausons, which are in front of us, as I said before, okay, it was more babies than it was anybody. See, and then in the old days, it was more Little Slausons than it was Big Slausons, like that. Then right after us come the Flips. See, and the Flips were very, very, very tough. Okay, and there's some very bad boys. What I told you about Lincoln Park, back then, I'd tell it another time, I'm going to tell it now. Gladiators and Aliso in 1959 jumped on some of my homeboys from the Flips at Lincoln Park. Okay, one of the homeboys, Frazier, called me. He's one of the ones that encouraged me to do this interview with you. I think it's probably about 20 of my homeboys. Now, if it had been 20 Liso or just 20 Gladiators, they'd have got whooped. Because the dudes that they jumped, when Frazier told me, he said, man, it may look like about 200 of them suckers coming down the hill. Everything. He ran to Dogtown. See, because Dogtown's not that far from there. Okay, and that's what started the hassle between the Gladiators and Slauson. I ain't never heard of no Gladiators in no 1959. See, they say they started in 57. Well, see, that was wherever they were at. But see, like I said, they're a combination of Ross Snyder's and Aliso Village. See, and so I had never heard, but they started. That's when Dudley B from Gangsters, they call him Gangster for Midget Slauson. He heard about when they were going to John Muir, some of the guys, who are these dudes supposed to be jumping on Slauson. He went up there and he seen Floyd Perry from Gladiators and got into it with Floyd and waltzed Floyd damn near from Vermont, damn near to Hoover. Okay, and he started fighting right there. I think it's a hamburger stand called Fred's right across the street on 60th in Vermont from John Muir Junior High School. And Dudley B waltzed Floyd, and the old man came back. Said, I don't know who that boy is, but he sure whooping the shit out of that other boy around there. And so Dudley B went up there and whooped Floyd, see. And the thing is, we wouldn't have never probably had no fight with him, because we never really had a problem with Lisa, but the combination of the two, some being, and Lawrence from the Gladiators, Spartacus, he was leader of Senior Gladiators. He's the dude I got in the fight with at Reese. See, and so therefore, that's where that hassle started from. Okay, let me go back. I mentioned Justin Baycott in there. See, I heard him mention Sportsman Park. Sportsman Park. We went there in summer, 1961. Okay, all the dudes went to the back, right there 98th Street, back to the back fence, going west. About 20 or 25 of our girls went in the swimming pool. About 20 minutes later, they come out of the swimming pool. They ain't wet. They look mad. And we said, well, what's wrong with y'all? They said, white boys talking about no niggers in the pool. And we said, oh, shit. And so a dude from Watts was leaving in his car, and a white boy picked up the little frame things that you put when you're working on the street that they fold up. Okay, they made of plastic now, but then they're made of wood. A white boy picked up one of those and threw it in this dude from Watts' windshield of his car and broke it. And so the Watts dude started getting into it with the white boys. One of my homeboys, baby brother, was walking across the park, and a white boy fired on him. He had on some shades, and the way that the shades flew off, everybody was watching the shades, and we laughed because it was kind of funny. But we said, oh, they done messed up now. And so we started getting into it with the white boy. And those white boys, everybody's talking about spook hunters. Spook hunters is an umbrella term. These were white boys from Inglewood. These were tea-timers and regents from Inglewood. Most of them went to Washington High School, and the rest of them was out of school. So we got in a fight with them. Okay, my homeboy James Bell, the one they called Taboo, he hit a white boy right there, hit that sucker so hard. He didn't fall backwards, nothing. He froze, and then he fell forward. The ambulances came, and it took them damn near 45 minutes to get him back to oxygen. Okay, and what happened, and Larry Hyde, that's where he broke his knuckle at over there. Okay, we get into this with white boys. We come back on 78th and Central. Everybody said, man, what happened to y'all? So we got in the ass with some white boys. We kicked their ass. Everybody looked at us like, shit, don't look like it to us. So anyway, what we did is made a campaign out of it. See, now these are little Slausons, renegades, baby warlords, in different factions. So all of us at the park. See, now the little Slausons, like I said, are the older dudes. Okay, like Wild Willie Poo Poo. See, Wild Willie, was Eugene. No, Eugene wasn't out yet. But Tree was still alive. Bay Brother, Renegades, Poop, Lynn, Pyram, it was so many. I forgot who over there. I think Sam them was there. All these dudes older than me. They were there too. See, now, in other words, make it long story short, I've heard different things on some of your, interviews with people. People made statements. Okay, the Little Slausons, everybody in Little Slauson, you could say, was tough. But they had some outstanding individuals. I didn't mention Robert Martin. I didn't mention from the Renegades, Tootie Howard, Gilbert Howard. I didn't mention Arthur White. I didn't mention from Little, he might be a big Slauson because he's AC's brother. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Robert Martin just mentioned that, but I didn't mention certain dudes because you can only mention so many. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and everybody's gonna say, well, he didn't say so and so, and he didn't say so and so. God damn! If I do that, I got to get a whole big old log book and read them off. See, and so everybody's taking everything personal. Okay, and it's not personal. It's that, I'm talking fast. I'm trying to think, and keep the brain up with the mouth and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of dudes I didn't mention. Okay, but Little Slausons, okay, they were the baddest. See, because they had all them tough guys. That's why when I went up to Slausons Park, I said, who all from the babies? They said, we the babies. It took me 35 years to find out that them dudes were Little Slausons. But they started the babies because Roach told me, when he told me 35 years later, he said, well, in Little Slauson, there was too many tough guys. And that right there is a problem. See, and he said what they did, the first dudes that became Little Slausons stayed Little Slausons. And the second set of dudes, okay, and the ones that had moved in the neighborhood, they started the babies. See, that's why I said the dudes had hair on their chest and razor stubble and muscles and all that kind of stuff. See, so the Little Slausons, in other words, to make a long story short, if we're getting into it and we're fighting suckers and we're going to see, sometimes some of us would be around Little Slausons. And Little Slausons were very selective about who hung around them that wasn't from Little Slauson or wasn't even from the set. So, but some of us were around Little Slauson. So they were the baddest ones. Okay, and whenever we got out, see, in other words, if we got in the house and we had to blow the bugle for reinforcements, nobody wanted to mess with Little Slausons. See, no set. See, all them businessmen and stuff, the junior businessmen, little Al, Teeter Bump, Ulysses, real tough. Okay, you had the Buchanans, you had Jack Buchanan, Freeman Buchanan, James Buchanan, you had the sisters, Patsy, I think one is Barbara and Beverly Buchanans, you had the Lewis Logan, Leonard Logan, you had you know, James Pondexter, Ray Pondexter. You had Suge, and you had a gang of guys. Okay, but they knew, that they're not going to get down with something. So we really ain't never had no hassle with the businessmen. See, but I just put that in there to let you know how our interaction was. But Slauson's origin starts in the 40s, but the label comes in 52. Okay, and like I said, the little Slausons actually were the toughest ones. See, we just stayed in the houses all the time. See, and stuff. And so I want to make that clear because from different stories, 'cause about 8 or 9 people called me since this last time we did the thing about. So they didn't say who, but we can mathematically and stuff figure out who said this and who said that. And then about me getting my ass whooped. Okay, I heard about that. People call me up at 1 o'clock in the morning talking about I'm getting my ass whooped all the time. Man, I ain't got time to hear all that. Okay, but here's the thing. You know what ass whooping is?
Tell me.
The definition of ass whooping. If I'm getting in your ass and I'm beating you down and I'm in control of the next thing that you do. If I tell you not to get up and stay down, that's what you do because I just put some ass whooping on you. See, and in other words, when you all beat up and you're out of condition, and you can't go no more. You throw your hands up and you throw back and all that. And I heard I was getting my ass whooped all the time. Okay, but what the best thing I ask anybody to do is go ask all the people that that heard about fights and everything. Ask them when did they see me get my ass whooped. See, okay, in the first place, I got jumped on all the time. That's why do you think niggas was shooting at me and stabbing me up all the time? I got all kind of scars, but ain't now one of them for my ass whooping.